Hey guys, it's Steven. Welcome back to another Pow Vista Dev update. I wanted to update you guys on what we've been working on over the last few months, what we have coming up soon, what our plans are in the distant future, and if you stay till the end, I'll mention how much money we made this month, which is a huge positive. The most interesting thing we've added to Pow Vista lately is skate buffs. So when you do a trick in Pow Vista, which you can now select your trick before you do it, the trick does a elemental buff based on which element of skateboard you were using when you did the trick. You activate a buff or a protection effect, and you have a certain amount of time before it goes away. And you can use these unlimited times, at least right now you can. And the amount of time that the buff or effect lasts is for the amount of seconds that corresponds with your skate level. So there's an incentive to get your skate level as high as possible, so those buffs last as long as possible. And I've really enjoyed using this when I'm doing my death tasks and you've got these super over-leveled NPCs that you're fighting to get death XP, and maybe you're training your pal at the same time. Maybe you're farming for a hoodie. So what you do is you get one of the skateboards that your target NPC dropped, and that'll be the same type that the NPC has as its attack type. So for example, I was fighting Phalees earlier today and they drop nature skateboard. So you pick up the nature skateboard, you use it to cast the protection nollie effect. Nollie's like a trick. It's like an ollie where you pop off the nose. And I decided to correspond that with a protection effect. So you get a little icon above your head of a tree, which means you have protection from nature. And since I've got about like 53 skate or something, I get 53 seconds of protection from nature type attacks when I perform that trick. And then I quickly pop off a fire type kickflip with my main skateboard and a fire type ollie to have a little bit more accuracy buff. And then I skate over and fight as many Phalees head on, and that, I think that's the most XP per hour, because if you're just constantly knocking people off of cliffs, you're spending probably too much time skateboarding between the enemies and not enough time just grinding down damage per second, which the more damage per second you're doing, the more XP you're getting. At the same time though, the more kills you get, the more death experience you get. So I could probably spreadsheet it out and make a case for both, but it's fun having the protection effect because it gives you a incentive to go towards that route of combat in Pow Vista. So skate buffs have added just another layer of depth, and we're going to be able to do a lot of cool combat challenges with these mechanics where you're going to need your protection effects and you're going to need your buffs just to be able to get through waves of enemies, to get that ultra rare, hard to obtain hoodie, board, halo type item. And I can't wait to do that. We have plans to do something like that in the pyramid, at least. It's in the idea stage, but it's going to be sick. So moving on from that topic, I wanted to talk to you guys about this encounter I had with a player whose name is simply Death. And I was actually on one of my test accounts, and I was testing out the early game, as I like to do every so often, to kind of understand what the new player experience is like, given all the changes, like these new skate buffs. And I was at Zombies going up the road to the volcano entrance, and I run into this guy, Death, and he bumps into me. I don't know if it's like on accident or on purpose, but just to see what happens, and by the way, he's like way higher level than me because I'm on this new account. Just to see what happens, I start ramming into him repetitively, and he starts fighting back, and he, kills me in like 3 hits, and I run back, pick up my tentacles off the ground that I just got, attack him again, and he kills me again, and I skate over, and he trades me, gives me a zombie hoodie. And by the way, I should say that this guy has a Skelly Friend pal, a Skelly Friend hoodie, and a Skelly Friend skateboard, and he trades me a zombie hoodie, which is like a 1 in 1,000 drop, in the game. And as a new player, if I were a new player, I'd imagine like I wouldn't know what this is, right? So like I just, to kind of play along, I was like, what is this? And the guy says, you know what that is. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, what did I like set my name as that would give away that I knew what that was? And I think it was just like test account 579234, whatever. I don't even know the password to this account. It was just a random account I created. It doesn't have any special abilities or anything. It's not like an official test account that would have like dev tool access. It's just like a random account I created to test the early game. As soon as I log out of this account, I'm never logging back in. So I drop the hoodie on the grass and I pick it up on my Closed on Sunday account. But then the next day in Discord, Chuck posted something about how he suspects this guy is like someone in the community that has like a that botted these rare items by just running some kind of script that where their character just goes up and down repetitively defeating Skelly Friend to farm the rare items, because those Skelly Friend items are like the board is 1 in 1,000 drop, the egg is 1 in 5,000 drop for the pal, the hoodie's 1 in 10,000 drop. So I guess the current community theory is that this guy is some kind of like vigilante that is somebody's alt account. I could probably give you my best guesses on who it is based on people who have created alt accounts in the past to troll and lurk Pow Vista pseudonymously. Let me say that again. Pseudonymously. Because they get some kind of joy out of, having difficult achievements come easy to them that were extremely difficult and time consuming for other people. Kind of like when you pick up $20 on the floor, like you didn't have to work for it. And it's like a great feeling of like, I just won the lottery. I didn't have to do anything to get this money. But the truth is, it is at the cost of players who have gotten these achievements legit. And when we track down and develop tools to find people who have botted, we will take vengeance for all the affected players. We vow by our honor. But anyway, we should move on to the next topic, because as many of you guys know, my main gig in life is making music and putting it out on Spotify as the artist Closed on Sunday. I make lo-fi versions of great songs that I enjoy. And I've been putting that on hold the last couple of weeks to just go 100% ham on Pow Vista. And we've added a lot of stuff. We added the mining and metalwork through the earth and steel skills that just got added. We've added a bunch of new little micro areas. We totally built out the new power plant area with 6 new NPCs complete with their hoodies and eggs and boards. And we have a new Halloween 30-day battle pass that's going to come out. And man, we are down to the wire, because right now it's Saturday night that I'm recording this. And it's supposed to come out on Tuesday, October 1st. But dude, we're experiencing a couple of major bugs. The other day, I got a DM from Revivified talking about how his account was just like stuck in basically Fogland. Like the map wasn't loading in, and it's just like him and like a bunch of floating wall islands in this weird tree scape. Like it looked so glitchy. And his story was that he had completed a goblin task with Skelly Friend, and he got a turtle warrior task after that, and he skated down to turtle warriors to complete that task. As soon as he enters the area, like everything stops. He can't move, so he restarts the app, and the map doesn't even load in, and everything's glitchy. And I'm like, what? What? So we're trying to figure out what happened. I tried giving him a teleport. I put a teleport in his inventory through the database. He closes the app, reopens it, tries to click on the teleport. It doesn't do anything. Because we're like, it happened when you entered the area. Maybe there's like a bug with the new system where we added this little info box thing that pops up when you're doing a Death Carbon task that has the picture of the NPC with like a number that runs down to show you your progress. And we added this with the trick buffs because they kind of operate in the same space of the screen, and we wanted to have kind of like a modular system that can show you different bits of information that you need at any time in Pow Vista. And so like one of those bits of information is the remaining amount of the task that you're currently working on. So the little image, pops up when you have a task. And for some reason, it didn't bug out when we tested it, because we tested it on a few different NPCs, and then it didn't happen to him when we were doing goblins. It didn't happen to any other players, but for some reason it happened with Turtle Warriors. So I set my task on my test account to Turtle Warriors, and I skate over to his area, and the same thing happens to me. I get stuck. I restart the app. I'm like in this fog, no man's land, and I'm like, okay, so there's something wrong with Turtle Warriors, right? So I think, what if I flip his task over to a different NPC, see what happens? I try it first on my test account. I flip it over to Water Roths, which is a pretty analogous task. It works on my test account. So I set his task to Water Roths through the database. He says, all right, that's cool. He goes over to Water Roths. I'm at Water Roths as well because I had gone over there to see if it worked. And we think, okay, we're going to investigate this bug, get it fixed in the next 24 hours. But for now, just sacrifice a pal if you need to change your task. If you get Turtle Warriors again, because there's something wrong with Turtle Warriors. We don't know what it is. But we're at Water Roths, and we're just talking about some of the other things he noticed that could be improved. Like some of the tricks weren't showing up right for other players. He sends me a screenshot, and it shows that he actually hadn't unlocked Water Roths yet as a death task, but I had, through the database, given him the task. So the Water Roths for him both have like the signal that you have to defeat them to unlock the mine area, which means they're still locked, but they also have the Death Carbon Curse. And Revivify's a pretty cool character because he loves playing the game in unique ways, and for some reason he just didn't want to unlock Water Roths. He's like, I don't want this as one of the tasks I can roll, and it's just part of my strategy with playing. I don't want to have this as a task. So can you actually, because he never asked me to change it to Water Roths, so he's like, can you move it to something else that I have unlocked? I'm like, sure. Want to do are Volgobs good? Like I'll switch you over to Volgobs. And he's like, sure, that's totally fine. So I switched it over to Volgobs. He goes over there. He confirms that crazy bug didn't happen again. And we're like, okay, so seems good. He has those unlocked. That can be his task. And he'll just make sure he doesn't go into the Turtle Warrior area again. Because for some reason, there's something wrong with Turtle Warriors that the game basically shuts down and locks you out of your account when you enter the area, when they are your Death Carbon task. And then over some course of events, he ends up at Volcano Nights as his next task, and he sends me the update that, hey, bad news, it happened again at Volcano Nights. Like the same situation happened. I'm stuck in a void. I need you to help rescue me from this. And I'm thinking, well, that sucks. So now we know that there's multiple NPCs that are affected with this. So we move it over to Flesh Creatures because they're like a nearby fire type NPC. And he goes there and he gets stuck again. And then I move it to Volcano Golems. He goes there, gets stuck again. And we're like, okay, so all these NPCs are broken? That's crazy. So I'm like documenting this and providing the info to our lead dev, and he's working on it. And I'm like, okay, let's just try another NPC. So I switched him over to Fire Skellies through the database, and he goes over. That's his new task. He's like, okay, Fire Skellies are working. I'm not stuck. And we're like, what do all these NPCs have in common? Turtle Warriors, Volcano Knights, Flesh Creatures, Volcano Golem. Why are all these broken, but Water Roth's not broken, Goblins aren't broken, Zombies aren't broken, Skeletons aren't broken, Gargoyles aren't broken? That's one of the ones I tested. Why is it specifically that group of NPCs that are broken? Well, our lead dev, it took him 2 seconds to realize that it was the space in the name. So basically every single NPC that has a space in its name, aka Turtle Space Warrior, Volcano Space Knight, the game just didn't know how to get the render of that NPC and put it into the info box. At least that's as far as I understand it. But that was the pattern we found. I provided that info, and we were like, okay, we got to get a fix out ASAP to our players because who knows who this is going to affect, right? So we quickly got a fix ready. We pushed the build, and over the last couple of months, it's been so easy to get a new version approved for the game. You just submit it. A few hours later, It's always like Steam is basically immediately. Like you push a build on Steam live to your players and it's immediately available. Google Play Store, most of the time, you push a new build to your players on Google Play and it's ready within an hour, right? For players to jump in. And Apple, aka iOS, in the past had been very like, it takes like 2 or 3 days to get a version approved. But recently, like over the last couple months, it would only take like, just a few hours to get the new version of the app approved and pushed out. So the normal course of events is we immediately submit to Apple when a build is ready to go for players. And it gets automatically released to Apple as soon as they approve it. And then once we see it's released on Apple, then we release it on Steam. So it immediately goes out. And then when we submit it to Apple, we also submit it to Google Play, to go out for Android. But for some reason, yesterday, when we submit the new version, we get this ridiculous app review. And I hate to complain about Apple because they've made my life so good. But whoever is doing this app review for us has just decided that they don't like our screenshots, that they don't like that we ask for date of birth when you sign up for the app. And they claim that like we didn't have this technical thing in the app that we actually do have. It's called app tracking transparency. So like when you open the app for the first time, probably a lot of you guys have seen this. It says like ask app not to track, and you can say yes or no. And we list in the App Store that we have that turned on, like where that prompt appears. And they were saying like, but you don't have that in your app. But we do have it in our app, and it's like maybe you don't have the setting turned on or something. So like this app reviewer is just like a normal guy, right, on the other end, and he's probably reviewing like, hundreds of apps a day. And for some reason he decided that he needed to like flag our app. And I think he had a valid concern at first, like with the iPad screenshots, they're just cropped versions of the iPhone screenshots. And so I'm like, okay, they just want like legit iPad screenshots. But I put those up, and now he's saying, the app reviewer is saying, your screenshots don't show the actual app in use. And I'm like super confused. Like, what are you talking about? What don't you like about these screenshots? They're all legit. I just like screenshotted these today. Some of them include some of the new areas. And eventually I want to do those like really cool screenshots that have big headlines that kind of tell you what is in the game. And the Apple guidelines allow for that stuff. But I was like, I don't really want to push my luck right now with this guy. We need to get this bug fixed. Like they're holding back the version of the game that has the bug fix. So right now, as we speak, if you're on iOS, we've already fixed this on Steam and Google Play, and the players that are on there are totally fine. They're, not getting stuck in the void when they get a NPC with a space in its name as their task. But for iOS right now, if you join and you get a death carving task for an NPC with a space in its name, you're going to get your account stuck, and you'll have to like go into our Discord and ask me to manually fix it for you. This is a serious issue, and at the top of the app review, it says that these changes can wait until the next app submission if your current build has important bug fixes that you need to get out to your users, immediately. And I'm like thinking, this is perfect. And so I asked for them, please, immediately approve the app like it says in your message at the top. And by the way, it's like the worst customer service email you've ever gotten, with just like a bunch of filler text, and the actual important message that's written by the app reviewer is like hidden within a mountain of, copy pasta. But at the very top, it did say that like these change requests are, eligible to wait until your next app submission. And instead, if you'd like us to proceed with immediately approving this version, we can do that. And so I reply to them, can we please immediately, approve? And I just get a reply of like, you still have not fixed the problems. And I'm like, what the heck? So we're kind of stuck in limbo right now with this app reviewer. I hope it gets escalated to the next level. I'm assuming it's going to be fixed pretty soon, because I've had times where we've had app reviews get stuck like this before, so it's probably going to be all good. But anyway, all that to say, we're stuck in limbo right now, and that has kind of sucked because we, at the same time, are trying to fix issues that we have as we're preparing for our 30-day Halloween pass. And by the way, I should just mention, because I promised at the beginning that I'd mention how much money we made this month. $100. $100. Hey, that's not nothing. But so this 30-day Halloween pass that we're trying to release by October 1st, which is in just a couple days from now, we're going to need an app update in order to release that. So I'm really, really hoping that we can get this approved ASAP. We also have other problems, like we want to have a new item type in the game that's called a character card. The whole idea behind character cards is that we want an item in game that you can use to redeem a character to your account, and that is also tradable. So you know how in Pow Vista you can go into the shop and buy a character that you can play as in game, like Plop, for example. Well, for this Halloween event, we're going to have a special pumpkin Plop that you get through the battle pass. You get it as an item, and when you get that item, you can either redeem it to your own account, or you can sell it or trade it to another player. You could even sell it to an in-game shop for a pitiful amount of gold. But the main idea is when you level up your battle pass up to the higher levels and get the presents that give you random amounts of duplicates of the battle pass rewards, you'll be able to get multiple character cards. And even if you can't use them all on your account, maybe you can save them for your other accounts that you want to use further down the line, or you can give them to other players that join the game later on and miss this year's Halloween event, because everything in the Battle Pass is going to be limited time. We're not going to be reusing old Battle Pass rewards, because we want there to be an excitement to, okay, you have 30 days to get the rewards in this Halloween Pass, and once that 30 days are over, it's all gone. So we also wanted to get these experience items into the game, but man, it is looking tough. So I think we're going to have to figure out some solution, or maybe add them in like halfway through the Halloween pass, perhaps. So the idea there is that there's going to be these different tiers of books that are like experience tomes that when you click on them, you can redeem them for Battle Pass experience, and you'll be able to do like tiny quests in the game to get these Battle Pass experience bonuses that will really bump you up to the higher levels, because the whole idea behind the 30-day pass is that we want to give players the ability to get to those higher tier levels realistically without, devoting their entire life to playing the game. So we have tons of fun things planned. So little time, so much to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this dev update. Hope you guys have a great day. Try to find me in Pow Vista. I'll see you later.